Hey y'all, so we've been talking a lot about pop artists recently, including screen printing of famous foods by Andy Warhol and the comic book-like stylings of Roy Lichtenstein. But this week we're talking about a new artist called Jasper John. And some of his most famous pop art paintings had lots of texture to them. Now, Andy created texture through screen printing, and Roy Lichtenstein created texture through lines and dots. But Jasper John creates texture through his paint strokes. Take a minute to look at the 0 through 9 painting and see just how many layers of color is used on each number in its background. You can see that the same technique is used in this alphabet painting, and we're going to recreate our own version of this painting. So this week, each of you are going to choose your own letter of the alphabet. It could be the first letter of your name, it could be the first letter of your last name, or it could just be a random letter that you really like, and we're going to create a texture painting using that letter. In your seesaw assignment, you can see almost every letter of the alphabet, in which you can scroll through and choose your favorite letter. Now, I chose C because Cassidy is my daughter's name, and Cassidy starts with C. But really, you can choose any letter that you like. And once you find the letter that you want to draw or want to paint, then you are going to screenshot. Take a screenshot by holding down the home button or the circle button on your iPad and the power button at the same exact time. And then we're going to go to Sketches School. If you don't have Sketches School on your iPad, you need to go to self-service and download it. If you're not quite sure how to do that, or if you're struggling, I'll post a link to a video in which I tell you how to do that on my virtual classroom. Once we're in Sketches School, we need to bring in our picture. And we're going to do that by pressing the 3 little dots at the top, the box with the arrow pointing in, and then hit Photo. And you're going to choose the letter that you downloaded. Resize it to get rid of everything else that's in the background, because that's just a picture. Those tools aren't really there. So we're going to make it big enough that we can't see any of those tools. And when you're finished, hit the check mark at the bottom of the screen. Now, all the tools in Sketches School will give you a little bit different texture, but I think the tool that's closest to Jasper John's painting texture is the square paintbrush. And notice if you go fast with the square paintbrush, the texture is a little bit different than if you go slow. Same thing with the spray tool. The texture is a bit different depending on the size. And if you tap your screen, or if you do like a stroke across your screen, just like with the watercolor paintbrush. Now, you can use any of these tools, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start off with a square paintbrush. You can also use any color that you wish, but just remember to use several different colors. We're going to do several layers of different colors. So I'm going to begin using the square paintbrush, using yellow ink, and I'm going to go all the way around my C, but not inside of my C, and kind of fill the whole page up with these paint strokes. Now, I'm not going to color in the entire page yellow because I want to be able to see some of these paint strokes. And when I have paint strokes across the entire page, then I'm going to actually switch my color. Again, you can use any color as long as you're using several different ones, but I'm going to choose orange for my second layer. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with orange and the same square paintbrush. Now, I'm not really going this fast. I'm just speeding up the painting for you. And I'm even going to choose a third color. And I'm going to switch back and forth between yellow, orange, and this pink color until I have quite a few layers of these paint strokes on top of one another. And you can see the texture in the painting building up more and more. When the entire background is filled with these paint strokes and you can no longer see any white, then you can start on your letter. I'm just going to fill in my letter with a solid color. I'm just tracing it with that same square paintbrush. You don't have to use this tool, you can use another one, but I like the solid color that this paintbrush gives me. Then I'm going to experiment with a couple of different tools to see what types of textures I can achieve. I really like the watercolor paintbrush tool. Now, if you tap the screen, you get these little blocks of color, And while using this white ink, it really starts to look like bubbles to me. You can also experiment with any of these tools. Just make sure you stay inside your letter so that your background texture is one thing and your letter texture is a little bit different. Once you are happy with your drawing, I'll go ahead and show you how to save it. Click on the 3 dots at the top of the page, the box with the arrow pointing out, and then Save Image. Then you can just upload it to your Seesaw assignment just like it's a normal picture. Good luck!